All right.
Hello and welcome back to the Star Trek Convention. I am your unofficial host, Heather Ferris, and we are here at STLV interviewing Aron Eisenberg. Oh my God!
Oh my God. Unbelievable.
Thank you so much for doing this interview.
Sure, Heather, of course.
Now, before we get started, I just want to remind you to subscribe, hit that notification bell so that way you'll always be notified of our latest videos and live streams.
There you go.
Now, you are a staple at this convention. You are so warm and so caring, and you are friends with everyone. And it's not just like one of those actors who they're like sort of pretend friends. Like, you actually care about people. You look at their posts, you like them, you comment, you follow people throughout the year. Like, you are a really caring and giving human being. Thank you. I just want to say thank you so much for that.
Of course, Heather. Thank you so much. Yeah. Well, truthfully, it's a huge family. The family starts working on the show, and then as we go around the world to different conventions, the family grows with all the fans that have become so caring about the shows, not just Deep Space Nine, but all of them. And it's literally just one giant family. Yeah.
And he gives hugs. I'm sorry, I'm fangirling.
No. It's okay.
Thanks. So, like I said, I follow you on Instagram,
Yes,
and
thank you.
you put out some really amazing photography. Your photos are just gorgeous.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell people a little bit more about that, and also where they can find that?
Well, yeah, basically, it kind of started a long time ago. There's one photo on this table. It's the tree one, the one single tree. This one. So there was this. So you can see that picture right there. That's kind of where I restarted getting into photography. And this tree right here was on this mountainside as I would drive home into Simi Valley. Sorry. And I got my gloves because it was so cold in here.
Oh.
I also have a hat, but I decided to take the hat off. That tree, I think they got it.
Okay.
Yeah, they got it. That tree was on the side of the mountain, and I kept thinking for years I wanted to get a photo of it. And so one Christmas Eve, I had nothing to do, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go take a photo of it. So I climbed up the mountain, went down into the valley of the mountain, and I got this photo, which is literally two mountains separated by a freeway. And that's kind of what got me back in doing photography. The other reason that I got back into it was that I would go to conventions throughout the years, and I never could remember where I was, like what it looked like, what my experiences was, and what I saw. So then I went out, like when I went to Italy, and you can see this one right here, which was in Florence. I decided to capture that so I could remember that. And then I just started, fulfilling my desire to shoot things that I thought were interesting that I would want to see on my own wall. This one I got in Australia, in Melbourne, at the Shot Tower, which is a historical mall. Well, the Shot Tower is the historical monument or location, but a mall was built around it. So they kept the ceiling, which went really high, so you have this really interesting shot. So yeah, I haven't done it as much lately as I want to, and I keep driving around going, oh, I want to shoot that. And so that's really where it all started, and just wanting to shoot things that I could put on my own wall. So it's my website is aronscottphotography.com, and please check it out. Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. And then you said that you go to locations, and in order to remember them, you take pictures of them. Can I ask what pictures have you taken of the Las Vegas Valley?
Oh, well, there's a few. Actually, I remember driving back several years ago, before Melissa came into my life, I believe. I was driving. Yeah, it was actually. It was probably a year or two. I had to leave really, really early in the morning to go back to LA. So the sunset was coming up over the mountains in the desert once you get outside of Vegas. So I took some of those shots, which were really kind of interesting. Reminded me of do you remember the movie Capricorn 1? It had this desolation look to it. This was not the valley, but in Las Vegas. But this one was taken again out in Simi Valley, so it has this desolate look, this solitude look, which is something I'm always gravitating towards. But so I do have a few. In the sense of Vegas in of itself, I don't think I took any in the actual city because I've been to Vegas so many times. It's not too hard to remember Las Vegas, but I love the desert, so I did get some shots out there.
Just so you know, it's a locals tip. If you come here in January, February, after the snow, after it's snowed, it's a week after that it starts melting. Go to Red Rock Canyon, go to the second to last stop, which is Icebox Canyon, and then there's a gorgeous waterfall that is only there for 1 week out of the year, and the whole place is just so green, and there's so many just flowers and plants and butterflies, and it looks like a fantasy land, like it shouldn't be in a desert or anything.
Wow. And you do photography as well, so you can give me a lot of pointers, and we actually share our photography liking and the things that we do. So yeah, so I'll have to you'll have to message me that because I probably won't remember that. So message me that.
I totally will. Yeah, plus another couple spots that you might like.
Yes, please do.
Awesome. And then also, what is the weirdest or craziest thing a fan has ever done at one of these conventions?
So I was at a con, this was like in the 90s when I was still working on the show, and you know that the Ferengi, the erogenous zone, is our ears, and people want to give you umox or receive it from you and what have you. Well, this woman came up to me in the line and says, "Hey, can I have a hug?" And you say, "I have no problem giving people hugs, as I've given you one before." And as she went in for the hug, and she went to lick my ear, and I was like, "Whoa, hey, let's put the brakes on, slow down. It's just a character I'm playing on a TV show. Let's take it down a notch." And I remember that like it was yesterday. That's probably, the strangest thing that's happened. And honestly, I mean, I don't have any other stories of really strange things that happen.
So no weird like photo ops or anything?
No, everybody's been always truly respectful, nice, excited, happy to meet you. I will say this, though. Garrett Wong has one of the best stories. Ask him if you interview him. It's something with was it a Tic Tac? What was it? It was really funny. If you want a great story, he's got a great one.
I just interviewed him right before I interviewed you.
Tell that story?
I didn't know he didn't.
You need to go back, supplemental log, because then ask him about the story with the woman that reached over and punched him, or what was it? Something, she lunged at him across the table. It's a great story. So you need to go back and ask him.
Okay, we'll go back and I'll try to get that story.
That one is crazy. Yeah. Mine is, it's somewhat innocent. It's not, she was very nice. So sometimes I feel bad telling that story because while it's a little invasive, of course, she was really just being funny and nice, and so. Well,
we love you. I mean, it's like we watch you and we follow you and we love you, and then we meet you, and it's like all the emotions and all of the, and then I think that's what makes people go a little stir crazy.
Of course, if I was. I was gonna make a joke, but I was saying if I met Gal Gadot, wapa. No, which would be really just like great. I haven't seen that one yet. I would probably embarrass myself, and actually, I did embarrass myself once. Here's a good story. Okay, I totally understand how that happens. Years ago, I went to a screening of Free Jack, and I walked downstairs to the restroom, and John Bon Jovi was standing next to Gary Busey. And I'm a Bon Jovi fan, especially back then. There's one album that I wasn't too happy about. So, point being, I was excited to meet John Bon Jovi, and I'm like, oh my God, there's John Bon Jovi. I make a U-turn, I go, I gotta say hi to him. I gotta say hi to John Bon Jovi. What do I say? I just want to be cool. I don't want to make a fool of myself. I understand. I just want to, say, hey, okay, thank you for your last album. It was great. I wish you all the luck on the next album. Okay, I got it. So I walk up, and he's mid-conversation with Gary Busey. And I go, completely interrupt. "Oh, Mr. Bon Jovi, nice to meet you." And I put my hand out, and he was very gracious. Put his hand, and I go, "I just want to tell you, I loved your last album, and it was great. I wish you all the best of luck on the next one." And then right when I said that, Gary Busey's standing there, and I go, "Oh, shoot. I didn't say anything to Gary Busey. I completely embarrassed myself. So I went, hey, Mr. Busey, I love your work. And Gary Busey goes like this. Anyway, John, so I cowered with my tail between my legs, and it gets worse. I go into the bathroom. Now, I always have to fix everything. This is a problem I think I have. So I'm in the bathroom like, oh my God, I'm such an idiot. I totally embarrassed. I was so rude to Gary Busey. Now, granted, he probably didn't even remember 3 seconds later, but the point being, I did. So I had to fix it. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to walk out there and say, Mr. Busey, I'm sorry I said that. Look, I'm an actor. I truly meant what I said. I have enjoyed your work. I'll get it. I'll shake his hand and apologize and move on. So I'm like, okay, I got it. I start to walk out of the bathroom. Door opens, in walks Gary Busey. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I go, Mr. Busey, zip. I'm like, oh no. And I've already started the conversation. He's zipping his pants down as he's walking to the urinal. So at that point, you're kind of, you've already committed. And now he walks to the urinal and he's there, kind of where that gentleman. I'm like, and the urinal's there, and I'm like, fuck. All right, so Mr. Busey, yeah, and he's urinating, and I'm having a talk with Gary Busey. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I meant what I said because I'm fully committed, and I'm an actor, and he goes, and in his, you know what, he was gracious. So, oh yeah, and he's shaking, because that's what guys do when they're finishing. They're shaking. I'm like, don't look down, don't look down, don't look down. Yeah, I got you, man. Yeah, no worries, man. Good luck to you. I go, yep, you too. Out I went back to my seat and watched Free Jack. So
that was probably the best story ever.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but yes. So I understand. I truly do. I've been there. We're all human. We're all human.
Human. Oh my God. I don't even know if there's any questions I can ask that can top that. That was just so funny.
Boom. That's it. Drop the mic, Heather. Drop the mic. Well, I could, I think you had another question. Yeah, it's okay. Whatever you want to do. Yeah, that's my Gary Busey story, so.
I think that was really fantastic. Well, thank you so much for the interview. You've been absolutely fantastic. I love the stories and everything. And is there anything that you want to promote, or do you want people to follow you on some specific?
Oh, sure. So one of the questions you were going to ask is what we're currently working on. Us actors always trying to find work or create work. So my good buddy, Sirach Lofton, Jake Sisko, as I played Nog, we've gotten together and we've started a podcast where we are watching for the first time Deep Space Nine. Now, we actually started with Discovery because we like watching the Star Trek shows and talking about them. But at the moment, we just started DS9. We just finished Storyteller, and we are talking about it on our podcast called The Seventh Rule. Now, if you know what the seventh rule means, it's a rule of acquisition. Do you know what it means?
No, but I have like 4 or 5 rules of acquisitions that I've been wanting to ask Ferengi. I just haven't found any Ferengi to ask.
Oh, well, Max would be the best one. I'm in Starfleet, so I don't know a lot. But I do know the 7th rule, which is keep your ears open. So that's the name of our podcast. You can find it at all these little spots that you might share the picture of it. And it's called the 7th rule, and we're having a great time. And we do our next episode next week. We have it free to hear, but you also can become a patron on our Patreon page, and it's a lot of fun. So.
And okay, so go to Patreon, go check it out, donate some money so we can continue it, and we will put those links in the description so that way people could just go in the description later on, click them, and then go to your podcast.
Fabulous. Thank you. Thank you all for joining.
Thank you guys. Thank you so much.
You bet,
Appreciate
Heather.
it.
Yep.
Cool. Okay, turn off.
All right.